Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in slowly. Now, as you exhale, I want you to let go of any stresses or any negative thoughts or energy that you feel in this very moment. Keep your eyes closed. I want you to try to be present with me here, right now. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. And when I ask you this question, I want you to open up your heart, open up your mind, and I want you to visualize your answer. I want you to picture your answer. What is your dream? What have you always dreamt of doing? And what have you always dreamt of being? No obstacles, no challenges, no stresses, just your dream. Stare at it. Keep visualizing it. What is it? I want you to feel it. I want you to breathe it. I want you to take it into your soul as you breathe in. And I want you to breathe out any self-doubt that you feel. Now, as you start opening your eyes, I want you to hold on to that dream. As you listen to me speak tonight, I want you to hold on to that dream. Now, slowly open your eyes. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to breathe out every single thing that makes you feel like it's impossible to achieve that dream. And exhale. I was 5 years old when my parents put me in something that they probably didn't think that I'd still be doing at 30, dancing. That's right, a Tamil female woman, unmarried, nowhere near having kids, is dancing as her career. That's right. Now, with dance, I was put into dance, Bharatanatyam, which is Indian classical dance. And with Bharatanatyam, it was seen as such a traditional dance because it was originated in the Hindu temples. And consequently, of course, anyone who was to try learning other styles or doing other styles of dance was looked down upon, and it's still looked down upon. That didn't sit very well with me, because I was that kid that would go home after school every single day, put on those Bollywood movies, fast forward to those song scenes, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and learn all the choreography that the dancers and the actors and the actresses were doing, because that's what I loved doing. But again, it was looked down upon. It was looked down upon because it wasn't a traditional art form. And another thing was, dance was always looked at as a hobby. So I never grew up thinking that I could pursue dance as a career. Why? It's simple. Dance is a hobby. Dance is not a career. Dance is something you do on the side or for fun. And dance was definitely not going to raise a family. That's what I was taught to believe by the people around me and by the society around me, specifically the South Asian community. Dance was more of a passion and something that I loved doing, something that I loved connecting with people over. That's what dance meant to me. So then I made a decision. I am going to pursue dance because it's what I want to do. No one can tell me what I want to pursue. This is me. I am my own person. So again, what is your dream? Who do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? You can't allow society or people around you to tell you what you should be doing or who you should be or mold into what society expects you to be. I remember being so lost in high school. I remember visiting my guidance counselor almost every single week because I had no idea what I wanted to do after high school. Now, I knew that I loved working with people. I knew that I wanted to help people. I wanted to make a difference. So this led to the option of social work, which is what I actually ended up doing in school. But I still always felt like something was missing. And the moment that I realized that I really knew what my purpose was when I was 14 years old. When I was 14 years old, someone very close to me opened up to me and shared with me a traumatic experience. I remember until this very day exactly how I felt when she shared this story with me and what happened to her. I was 14. I was sitting at my computer desk, chatting with my friends on MSN, and words started popping up on my screen as she kept typing and typing, words that I couldn't quite swallow, words that I couldn't quite understand or comprehend, words that were taking my mind and my body into a numbness, words that took me into complete shock, words that were changing something in me, words that were now changing my story and who I was becoming. Until this very moment, I can still feel it. I can feel exactly how I felt as I stood there, staring at the screen, repeatedly reading, "I was raped." Did I even know what rape meant? We didn't grow up talking about it. We didn't talk about it in school. We didn't talk with our families. You don't really see much of it on TV growing up. No one talks about it. So did I really know what it meant to be raped? But as I read every single detail that she shared with me, my heart was racing to read who did this to her, what happened, and to put a face to who did this to her. My heart was racing. Tears were falling. But you know what? I didn't realize I was crying. Tears were just rolling down my face. And it wasn't until my eyes were completely blurry that I couldn't see the screen anymore did I realize that I was crying, because I was in complete shock. I was 14. What do I do with this information? Do I tell somebody? Do I get her help? No. I was 14, so I promised. Like any teenager, I promised I won't tell. So I kept it. I kept her secret. I was the only person that knew. What I didn't realize was that this secret that I held on to for so long, not being able to talk to anybody about it, not being able to get help for myself, not that I would have, because hey, we weren't taught to do that. Now this was a part of my trauma. This was now a part of my story. And yeah, this didn't happen to me, but it felt like it did. And as I got older, it kind of kept happening, where I became the confidant to the traumatic experiences that close loved ones were going through. And as heavy as this was, it made me realize something. I wanted to break that silence. I did not like the word silence. I know at least 10 people who have been sexually abused. I know at least 4 people who have been in domestic violence situations or abusive relationships and are still in abusive relationships. 3 people in my life have been suicidal, but thankfully have survived. But one person didn't make it a few months ago, my uncle. Now, as heavy as this is, like I said earlier, this made me realize something big, a huge part of what my purpose is. I wanted to share these stories. I wanted to speak up for the people who couldn't speak up and share their stories. I wanted to share my story. I wanted to break that silence because I despise the fact that we feel like we cannot talk about what we are going through or talk about what we are feeling. Why? We're all human. We all feel similar emotions. We all go through similar challenges, but we'll never know it because we don't talk about it. Because we're not raised to think and feel that it's okay to share what we are really going through. But I wanted to do this in a way, so I wanted to advocate all of this in a way that I knew how to, through dance, through the arts. Looking back as a kid, facing these challenges, looking back as a teen, coping with these challenges, and now as an adult, trying to overcome working through these struggles, I realized something. Dance has been my main constant. Dance has saved me in so many ways. Yes, it was a hobby. Yes, it was a passion. But you know what? It was also my escape. It was my way of coping. But I didn't even realize that I was coping through dance. Dance was also a friend. It was my guidance, and it was my therapy. Oh, the word therapy. Another word I didn't know growing up, because again, not something we talked about, at least in my community. So yes, dance was my therapy. It's what I turned to. And that made me realize that I now want to provide other people what dance provided for me. So whether that's creating pieces to tell stories, real stories, from real people telling my story, or whether that is by providing a safe space for people to just come, freely express themselves, dance out whatever negativity they are going through or feeling, or any stresses. This was a huge moment for me because it became very clear to me that I wanted to combine both of my passions, making a difference in people's lives through my love of dance. Now, I knew I wanted to do this. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it, but I knew that by sticking to who I am, standing up for what I believe in, staying determined, and working hard will get me there. Because quite frankly, giving up was not an option. How can it be an option when I felt so passionate about it, when I could feel in my heart that this was my purpose? Well, that's when three enemies come into play. Good old fear, good old self-doubt, and of course, my anxiety. Everything that's self-inflicted, right? Everything that we bring upon ourselves. But it was hard to avoid. This was something I internally struggle with and have internally struggled with for a very long time. Now, yeah, on paper, sure, I might have hit some minor milestones, but I still felt lost. You know why? Because I knew I was chasing something bigger. I knew I had a bigger purpose. There were so many days and so many moments where I wanted to hide and just stay in bed and give up. And you know what? I did have the unconditional love and support from my friends, my family, my beautiful parents, who till this day believe in me more than I believe in myself. And I am so sure of that because they have never questioned or doubted me choosing dance as a career. They believe in me. They've been beside me. They've been my backbone through it. So, of course, I learned to put on my game face, learned to put on the I'm doing just fine look, and carry on because I didn't want them to know what I was feeling or what I was going through. These are the parts of our journey that we refrain from sharing because why? We don't want to look weak. Because the last thing that we want people to see is failure. There was this expectation that I had to fill of keeping my head on straight. That pressure was so significantly high. And not just the expectation of other people, but the expectation that I had for myself. Interestingly enough, as much as I'm someone that, really believes in what I do, and I'm proud of my choices that I'm making to pursue what I want to do and stand up for who I am, I still unknowingly kind of cared about what people thought of me. It was hard to escape that. How people perceived me, my image, my status as a dancer, my success. But I knew I had to fight against that. And truth be told, it's not until about last couple years that I knew I had a choice to make, whether to allow these challenges to deteriorate my future or do everything in my power to overcome, work through these inner struggles so I can reach my highest potential and follow my dream that I was once told is impossible and is constantly reminded of. So in the last year, I told myself to say yes to any new opportunity that came my way, try new things, and step out of my comfort zone. Because you know what? Hell with fear and self-doubt, because those two things have been keeping me in my comfort zone for way too long. It was too easy to just continue doing Indian classical, too easy to just stay within the Bollywood world. I know I wanted more. So then I did. In the past couple years, I have been working really hard to push my new art form to the forefront. I call it modern Indian classical. What is it? Well, let me just tell you, it's definitely something not traditional dancers and teachers approve of. But again, now you know that I don't really care, because I'm gonna do what I wanna do, because it's my dream, not theirs, right? So what is modern Indian classical? Honestly, I've taken my traditional dance form, I've completely messed around with it, broken it down, and I fuse it with other styles. And to be honest, you know what I do with it? I create what I feel like I want to create. I create with no boundaries, and I create without worrying about anybody's judgment. Because again, this is what I feel like doing, so I'm gonna do it. And so should you. Right? What I am doing, creating with no boundaries and judgment, I want to be able to have that platform ready for the next generation coming up, for the aspiring dancers coming up, because I don't really know anyone before me who did that for me. I didn't have much guidance. My guidance was to follow the rules. My guidance was to, stay within Bharatanatyam and pursue that as a hobby, of course, obviously. So that's why I am pursuing modern Indian classical. That's why I'm pursuing dance, again, is to inspire the people around me, okay? So, I worked on my positive mindset, but along with having a positive mindset, I also worked on having a present mindset, something else I really struggled with. But I knew that with a positive mindset, a focused mindset, and a present mindset, this was going to really change something for me, and it did. The minute I started religiously practicing having these three things, I kid you not, I felt like the universe was opening up for me. Opportunities started rising, and I was more than ready to push hard. I was more than ready to work harder than I ever have, because I could feel it. I felt the change in me, and I can see it. Now with these opportunities didn't just fall into my lap, and no, it wasn't luck. You know what else I realized? Guess who manifested them? Me. I did that. I manifested them by sticking to who I am, standing up for what I believe in, working hard, and most importantly, not giving up. Most importantly, not feeling defeated, no matter how many times I fell down, no matter how many times I wanted to stay in bed and not get up. Many people don't know that, but I didn't give up. I manifested that for myself, and I am going to keep manifesting these goals and dreams because I know I deserve to, and so do you. You are going to face so many different challenges throughout life. And yeah, you're gonna have moments and times where you feel like you're not going to get through it. But I want you to know this. You have the power and strength to overcome anything. Now, I'm not talking about physical strength, okay? I'm talking about your inner strength. The inner strength that is going to get stronger and stronger every time life tests you with failures, with heartbreaks, with hardships, and whatever else life has to throw at you. Your inner strength is going to get stronger, okay? You can achieve anything. So don't ever think for a second that your dream is impossible to achieve. I want people to feel and know that they have the freedom to create the way they want to, not how society wants them to, okay? Or not how the industry expects you to. Be you. The most important thing that you can do for yourself and for your future and for your kids and whoever else is for you to be you. You know why? There's only one you. In this entire world, there is no one else exactly like you. What are you going to do with that? What kind of mark do you want to leave? I don't ever want you to allow your circumstances to define who you are or to determine what your future is going to be. Because again, nothing is impossible. So again, what is your dream? What is it? I want you to feel it again, and I want you to go after it. Okay? Now, something that I don't want you to do is to keep comparing yourself to someone else and someone else's success. You are your own person. You are your own journey. You have your own story. You have your own path. Every single one of us in here, we all have our own stories. Okay, so how can we again and again continue to compare ourselves to other people? We're all made up of different genetics. We're all raised and brought up differently. We are all faced with different circumstances and different challenges. So you have your own path to pave, your own story to create. Do not allow anybody else to create that story for you, because it's yours. I want you to let go of any fear that you feel. I want you to let go of any self-doubt that you feel. Or if you deal with anxiety, whatever it is, anything negative that is holding you back or that is making you feel like your dream is impossible to reach, let that shit go. Okay? Because you deserve more. Everyone else believes in you, but you need to believe in yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to accept yourself for who you are. Because like I keep saying, everything starts with you. Everything starts up here. You have the power of controlling your thoughts. You have the power of your entire mind. So, what you put in there, what you put into there, what you say to yourself, all of that matters. We're going to do some self-affirmations. Here we go. I am brave. I am smart. I am confident. I am beautiful. I am perfect. And I am powerful. So now my question to you is, yes, what is your dream? I've asked you that. My last question for you is, why is it still just a dream?